I know what y'all thinking. Bro, where you been? Look, this is a reminder to y'all. I post Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Last week, I actually gave y'all a couple of double dips where I posted a video and I went live. Not too sure if I'll be doing any of that today. It just kind of depends on the mood and, you know, the news out there surrounding the Houston Texans. But man, today we're going to talk about the very controversial interview that Deshaun Watson had with Carmelo Anthony on his YouTube channel. And to be honest, that day I had totally forgot. I kept reminding myself that I was going to tune in. I was going to watch it live, and then I got caught watching other stuff on YouTube, which I'm sure happens to you all the time. And so I caught the rerun or the posted video just an hour after it had ended. And man, I was having a hard time trying not to fall asleep just to really hear the whole interview, especially right in the middle where it gets real interesting, and which is actually the topic of this conversation. Look, I think the Texans this offseason the Texans in general have been making a lot of moves and in different ways, both in football aspects and that outside of football, concerning the world, concerning the United States. And Texans definitely have been very involved when it comes to both things. And so, this offseason has been one where, compared to any other offseason, you were probably bored. There wasn't much rumors out there. There wasn't much news. But man, this year O'Brien has not disappointed. Not that I am applauding his trade of DeAndre Hopkins, and I know some of you guys overreacted by that post. If you guys want to see my reaction to that post, you guys go to Saw Sports and check that out. We'll put that in the description box, and you guys can tune into that stream that happened, if I'm not mistaken, 2 days ago, and we talked about the Houston Texans and DeAndre Hopkins and what they try to blow up as a shot to Deshaun Watson or the team. But yeah, man, today we're going to talk about exactly what Deshaun Watson addressed in that conversation. I've had conversations of my own with different people and their thoughts and their opinions about what occurred that day. This team has really shifted. I think previously you didn't hear much from them on social media. You might have seen an eyes emoji at the very, very most, but never ever complete words or criticism or their opinions really being voiced out there, especially on social media. But this year, that stuff has really, really changed. And I think some of that change pertains to the players just really, really coming out of their own to speak their voice, compared to another league like the NBA where you see it all the time. You even see beef between NBA players on social media. But this time around, man, you are seeing the NFL players, NFL coaches now, and NFL teams starting to really shift. How long it'll last? It's definitely a question to really think about. But like I said, the Texans have been very active, very vocal, and Deshaun Watson did not hold back in this interview. They went from talking about his protest, talking about him being part of that protest, how he felt with that, and going on to speaking about a book that he is coming out with, where he has 7 principles of leadership. And he doesn't go into all of them, but, he begins to discuss certain things. And then he gets into a very important topic because Carmelo Anthony shifts the conversation to him dealing with being a African-American, a black person in the NFL, a black quarterback in the NFL, and what he's had to deal with when it comes to that. He basically came out and said, look, I haven't really, been beat up by a cop or any of that sort, but I definitely experienced racism in one way or another. And he said, and when it comes to the NFL, the quarterback is no different. They expect us to be a lot more proper, I wouldn't say professional, because a lot of people would say, oh, that's just them telling him to be professional. But he said, just the jargon, right? The his way of talking, the way that he communicates on the regular, he has to change in order to fit the NFL shield and this brotherhood that is the quarterback position, especially because they don't just stand for themselves, but you gotta think about this. They stand for the next black quarterback that comes into the league, and so they definitely want to be a cornerstone for those players as they come on. And so that conversation slowly and surely became a conversation where Carmelo straight up asked Deshaun Watson about Cal McNair, the owner. Now, a lot of people have come, well, the owner is not Cal McNair, it's Janice McNair. Look, we know Janice McNair stands outside of the locker room kissing the players as they go in. So for Deshaun Watson to say he wants to hear from the owner, he wants to have him come down and talk to the team, I'm pretty sure he's referring to Cal McNair. Now, I don't know if you guys saw some of the episodes that the Houston Texans had. They sat down with Cornell. They sat down with another gentleman where they talked about the hardships, being a black person in America and really trying to understand, what they don't understand because they haven't experienced. And look, the first thing that ever come out, you obviously had that press conference with Bill O'Brien where he comes out. He's very genuine, even though I see him reading the screen and it was probably wrote by the PR person, but at least he was very empathetic when he read it, and people felt a little bit different about O'Brien as far as a person is concerned when he was finished with that presser. But the following day, Cal McNair had a presser of his own where, dude, it's like he had never even read a piece of paper before in front of a camera, and it was just like, it was probably better for you not to come on at all because he did not help his cause. Look, when Deshaun Watson in his interview with Carmelo says, I've talked to O'Brien, I've talked to Jack Easterby, I haven't talked to Cal about the situation, about the stance, about the inequality that's going on in America, and the stance that the Houston Texans players and other players in the NFL are taking. He says, look, I've only talked to O'Brien, I've only talked to Jack Easterby, and we as a team are expecting that when we get back to Houston, he'll come down and address the team and show that he is behind our agenda. He is supporting our cause, because if he doesn't, there's going to be problems. That is what he stated. And so when I heard that, I was like, it woke me up. It woke me up. Right when I was ready, my eyes were closed and everything, it woke me up and I was like, whoa. When is the last time that you've heard a player speak like that? And look, some people in the media have come out and said it's not shots. Some people in the media have come out and said, no, it's direct shots, and this locker room is toxic. If you go back and read the Athletic when it came to, the Sports Illustrated article that was DeAndre Hopkins, one of the things that goes under the rug is the fact that he highlights the fact that O'Brien didn't like players with dreads. Then we see Will Fuller all of a sudden get rid of his dreads. Just things that, catch my eye when I read them. It keeps my eye on the prize, keeps my eye on seeing the true character of somebody and not just, everything else that comes around it to try to please the public. You're talking about a head coach who has basically cursed a fan on his way to the locker room and was actually pushed away from the situation by the same player that he claimed that had too many baby mamas and decided to trade him away. Look, he's already put his stance. I think O'Brien is walking on eggshells when it comes to the players. I think he definitely probably is taking a step back when it comes to his aggressive about the culture that he wants. I think he is definitely going to allow just a little bit of leeway with certain players. You saw Larry Tunsil come out just yesterday and call the NFL a joke because of all the procedures that they're putting together for this COVID. One of them being the inability to do jersey swap because they're trying to prevent players from catching COVID. One, why would a player be out there if he had the COVID? Aren't they getting tested almost every day? Two, they're playing, they're tackling each other, and they're basically swearing on each other. Deshaun Watson also yesterday went into a tweet with someone who was basically telling them this is for the safety, it's for the example of kids. And he said, dude, we're over here tackling, we're over here sweating on each other, but you're telling me a jersey swap is going to prevent me from doing it. If that's the case, then why are we even playing? So, very, very vocal players when it comes to the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans actually have the most vocal players this year when it comes to taking a stand. So, just goes to show, man. Just goes to show that the players might be taking a little control over all these situations. And so when people say, oh, this year will be the year where this team is the most cohesive, well, it might not be because O'Brien's controlling it. It might be because the players are coming together and saying, no, we're going to do things our way. And in one way, it's good because when things are going great, I think the self-esteem is great and everything is good and dandy. But when a challenge arises and God forbid, a player going down for COVID that's a star player that you need for a certain game, things of that nature, or, you lose 2 games back to back, O'Brien doesn't allow Tim Kennedy to do play calling, all these things that could definitely push, I want to say, this water to really boil out of the pot are things that are going to be interesting to keep a watch with the Houston Texans. I think if O'Brien doesn't get a hold of these things, he can very well see himself out of this organization before he knows. And the other thing is, there's been rumors and there's been talks about, well, maybe Calmanero should just sell the team. Well, apparently, in order to buy that team, it'll cost $5 billion. So it's not an easy thing. Someone out there has to probably get with another group of people that want to buy a team and do that. So I don't know if that's the option that will happen this year, but the Texans are definitely a team that is not only on the watch from the media when it comes to what is O'Brien going to do on offense, what is O'Brien going to do as the head coach of this team, but what is going on in that locker room. And so that to me adds a ton of pressure. So this team is either going to basically allow that pressure to make a diamond out of it, aka a Super Bowl appearance or win, or they're going to fold, and they're going to fold fast. And in that case, man, I really feel sorry for O'Brien, because if O'Brien already has people escorting him to the building, already has people basically watching his six, what else is he going to need when this team either misses the playoffs, this team chokes again? Things that O'Brien definitely has under pressure, and those things are probably what can either really help him, because when he's under pressure, sometimes he's performed his best performance. Sometimes when he's at the most pressure, I think he begins to add a lot more stuff to his plate that shouldn't be there. And you see things like he wants to be the head coach, he wants to be the GM, he wants to be the OC. So very, very interesting to come. But that is my spiel about that. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and comment below your own opinion. Just finished the video just in time. My wife is outside the window telling me to open the damn door. But anyways, man, you guys make sure to comment. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is a toxic environment that's developing for the Texans, or do you think it is all smoke? Definitely be there. I will be looking forward to that. Hey, but you know what it is, baby. Every day, H-Town. Let's get it.